Hi, Brenda. How have you been? I'm really sorry that I haven't been able to come and see you earlier, but I've been so busy with wedding prep recently that I've barely had a spare second. I thought that because we live in the same neighborhood, we would be seeing each other all the time, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh, Megan, don't apologize. It's only natural that you would be busy whilst preparing for the wedding. But it must be a little easier for you two than it is for most young engaged couples these days, don't you think?
Huh? What do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of young couples struggle to get the money together for their weddings, you know, and they have to go around asking their family members to help them out. But my Danny earns such a high salary and has lots of savings put aside, so I would say you're luckier than most prospective brides, getting to rely financially on your fiancé like that. You can easily avoid so many of the problems that people face when planning a wedding, so you should count yourself lucky that you landed such a catch, Megan. I know he's my son and I'm a little biased, but I don't think you'd find a better husband than him, don't you think? Mom, stop. You're embarrassing me. I can't believe you'll even brag about me to my own fiancé. I think of all people, Megan is well aware of how much I earn and things like that, so there's no need to bring it up like that. Even if she does know, I don't think there's any harm in reminding her every now and again that not everyone has it as good as she does. That way she'll learn to always be grateful and appreciative of her husband. I'm sure you're over the moon to be getting married to him soon, aren't you, Megan?
Yes, of course. I'm always grateful to both of you for all of your love and support. Obviously, I know that Danny earns more than me, but both of us are contributing evenly to the wedding. It's like his mom doesn't know that. Or is she saying this on purpose to try and make me feel bad for earning less than Danny? Oh well, it doesn't really matter, does it? After all, his salary being more than mine is going to improve my quality of life when we start living together. But of course, even after we're married, I'll still be sending you some money every month, Mom. Oh, actually, because our household income will go up once we're married, I might actually be able to send you even more than I do right now, Mom. Oh, really? That would be nice. I really do have the best son in the world, don't I? He's so devoted to his old mother. How could I not brag about him to everyone? Danny? What are you talking about? Oh dear, look at her. The moment you talk about giving me a little bit of money, her face falls. Young girls these days, all they care about is whether themselves and their partners are living and eating well and couldn't care less about their poor in-laws. Well, just come out and say it, will you? You don't think Danny should be giving me any money after you get married, do you? Of course Megan doesn't think that. I told you before, she's not like the other girls. She's different. Of course she is. She must be to have landed herself such a great man like you. Why did you say we'd be giving your mom money every month after we're married without even consulting me about it first? You never mentioned it before when we talked about finances and stuff. Well, I just thought it was a given that we'd be giving her money every month. I didn't even think it was something that needed discussing. And anyway, the money that I give her would come directly from my salary, not yours, so I didn't think I needed to ask your permission for that. What? But we're going to be getting married, so I think it's only natural to take each other into consideration when making financial decisions. I should be knowing exactly how much money is going in and coming out of our total household income, don't you think? Well, now you know about this extra little expense. Happy now? Anyway, like I said, this money will be coming out of my salary, so I don't get why you're looking at me with that betrayed expression on your face. It's the principle of it! It's not that you'll be doing it. It's the fact that you didn't tell me that you'll be doing it. I was thinking around $1,000 or so. Don't you think that's a little bit too much? If we want to get a loan approved to buy a house together, it's going to be really difficult to pay it back as soon as possible when we'll be losing $1,000 a month to your mom. I mean, I was thinking we would just go halves on paying the loan back. I feel like it's only fair. As you say, when we're married, we'll become a team who share financial burdens. Although I do earn almost twice as much as you, my half of paying off the loan and the money I'll be giving my mom combined will add up to our difference in salary. So it will be like we basically have the same salary after that. Then we can just live off pooling that amount together and everything will be fine. I was thinking that because you earn more than me, you could pay back a tiny bit more of the loan each month, proportionally with your salary. I think our priority should be reducing the amount of time it takes to pay back the loan, don't you? What use is there in setting the same money aside each? I don't think it's reasonable to do it that way at all.
Well, I don't think that your way is reasonable. You're saying that according to your principles, it's logical for me to pay back more of the loan just because my salary is higher than yours. Surely that's unfair when it's a loan we're taking out together. If we're getting married, shouldn't we be on a level playing field? Shouldn't we then resolve this as equals without one of us having to rely on the other?
If you really think that, then you shouldn't have said that you'd be giving your mom more money each month once we're married. I think it wouldn't be natural to assume that you're going to be giving her more once we have our finances combined, which is not cool with me. You do know that your mom thinks we can buy a house with just your money and has no idea that we'd have to take out a loan, right? So in her eyes, you giving her some extra money every month is nothing. But the truth is that it's basically going to be as if you and I are going halves on the money you give to her in the end, isn't it?
But even so, when you think about how much I'll be bringing to the table, no matter how you look at it, it's you who's going to be gaining an advantage, isn't it? Where you are in your career right now, you don't know if your salary is ever going to go up, right? But me? I have a clearly bright future, and there's a good chance that my salary will go up significantly fairly soon. You're gaining so much from having such a capable and high-earning future husband, so shouldn't you be grateful instead of complaining about small things like this? I really don't know why you can't understand how great of a situation you're in right now.
Well, what about my family then? If we'll be giving your mom money every month, then shouldn't we give my mom some money too?
If you want to give her some money every month, then by all means, please do. But you can take that out of your own salary, just like the money for my mom is coming out of my salary. But are you earning enough to be able to afford to give your parents a decent amount of money? We're going to need to pay back the loan as well once we're married, so wouldn't it be irresponsible for you to give money to your parents on top of that? Wouldn't it just be better to worry about giving your family some money once you get a pay rise? Making sure your parents are well provided for is an expensive business, you know? If you're sending them money when you can't really afford it, it just ends up being more trouble than it's worth.
So, basically what you're saying is that even after we're married, we should manage our finances separately. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. That's what everyone does these days, isn't it? Honestly, from my point of view, it's unfair of you to think of my salary as shared property when I earn so much more than you. Put yourself in my shoes for a second. You wouldn't like it if I felt entitled to your salary if you were the higher earner, would you?
I can't believe I'm hearing this. I had no idea that this is what your views were on the situation. If this is really how you feel, then what's the point in us even getting married? It'll be no different to just living together. In fact, no. Even unmarried couples who live together normally share their finances.
I mean, we've both reached the age where we might as well get married. It's what my mom wants for me as well. She thinks you're a pretty good choice of bride for me as well. And aren't you the one who said you wanted to marry me anyway?
Well, if I'd known that you had these kinds of views, I would definitely have reconsidered. Why did you never tell me that this was how you felt before? We've booked the venue and everything now, so if we call off the wedding, it's going to be complicated.
But I really don't understand why you're so shocked by the fact that I'm planning to use my money to take care of my family after I'm married. Don't tell me it's because you only decided to marry me for my money, and now you've realized it won't all be going to you. You think it's not worth it anymore? Do you just see me as nothing but an ATM?
Of course not. How could you accuse me of such a thing? All I'm saying is that I think it's right for married couples to put their finances together and manage them together.
And that's what I'm saying we should do. Just in the way that I suggested earlier. I really don't know why you're so upset. I'm getting so frustrated because of you right now. So, are we getting married or not then?
You're really not making any effort to see things from my point of view, are you? I think it's best if we take some time apart to think over the issue. If we disagree on something as important as this, maybe we really shouldn't get married.
What did you just say? Are you seriously wanting to break off the engagement over this?
I'm not saying anything for definite, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't considering it. No matter how much you insist that it's your salary, I can't accept you giving that much money to your mom every month when we have other things to worry about. Do you think that I don't want to give my parents some money to help them out? Of course I do. But it can't be a priority right now, and I accept that. Obviously, whatever you did with your money wasn't my concern when we were just dating. But you have to understand, if we are getting married, it will become my concern. I don't think it really reflects well on you that you want to carry on using your money however you want without even consulting me. It doesn't make me think that you're going to be a very reliable or trustworthy husband. It may not be for you, but for me, this is a significant problem, and you've also shown a lack of communication skills in failing to mention how you felt about finances until now. Anyway, I'd like you to take a long, hard think about this as well and figure out what you really want. We've arrived at my place, so I'll get going now. Let's talk again later after we've had a chance to think things over, okay? I really think you're making a mountain out of a molehill, but fine. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
So, you agree that you both needed some time to think this over? But didn't you say that you're about to send out the wedding invitations? Wouldn't it be a huge disaster to cancel the whole thing at this point?
I'm not necessarily saying that we definitely will call it off. I'm just saying that we need to deal with the problem that's made us reconsider before we go forward with anything else. Honestly, you have no idea how much I was taken off guard earlier. In front of his mom, he was going along with her misconception that he's paying for most of the wedding when in reality, we're actually going halves on it. And then in the car, he goes and says that he thinks we should keep our finances separately and do everything 50-50. But to be honest, I can understand all of that to an extent, but what I can't understand is why he thinks it's okay to give his mom such a huge amount of money every month. His reasoning was that he earns more, so he's entitled to do whatever he wants with it. But I think that's so unfair considering we're supposed to be a team.
Yeah, it really isn't right for him to think like that. But have you still not told him that you have an apartment? An apartment in New York on top of that. If he knows that, he might get off his high horse and stop thinking he's so great for earning more than you.
I was going to tell him, but after what's happened today, I'm not so sure. I'm really hurt by the fact that he thought it was okay to be giving his mom so much money without even asking me if it was okay first. I asked him how he thought we would pay off a loan for a house just as kind of a test to see what he would say, but he said that he thinks it would be best if we both pay back the debt equally. If I had told him that I actually already have an apartment that we can live in, he would just take it as a green flag to be even more careless about how he spends his money and even less concerned with consulting me about it. So how could I tell him about the apartment now after finding out all of this new information about his ideas about financial management?
Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to bring it up in this situation. But to be honest, you're not losing much if you do decide to leave him. After all, there aren't many other people in their early 30s who have a place under their own name in New York. Even though your salary is lower than his, I'd still say you're in the better situation out of the two of you. After all, what property does he own?
But the problem here isn't about who earns more and who doesn't. The problem is whether we can have a shared sense of responsibility for our household as a married couple. Whilst we were dating, Danny seemed to be such a reliable and earnest person, and I really liked that about him. I never could have guessed in a million years that things would turn out like this.
But didn't you say that he always insisted on going Dutch for meals and stuff whilst you were dating? Shouldn't he have been paying more even then if he's so proud of the fact that he's earning more than you? I always thought it was a little weird, but never said anything. And now I see that it was just a precursor for him acting like this.
I actually always liked the fact that he insisted on us going Dutch at meals. I thought it showed that he was someone who took finances seriously and didn't throw around money frivolously, and that appealed to me. But now it's obvious that it's not because he takes finances seriously. It's just because he's overwhelmingly concerned with himself. I've really got to see another side of him I never knew he had whilst preparing for the wedding. And it's not for the better. I really never thought that things would turn out like this.
So many people end up breaking off their engagements for this exact reason. They realize they didn't actually know their partner until they started preparing for the wedding and end up not liking them anymore after seeing their true colors. But then, didn't you say that you and Danny never had a single fight throughout your whole relationship? Maybe you can just take this as an opportunity to see how you two deal with conflict resolution. And if you can't work it out, then that's just another thing you've learned that can help you have a better marriage.
Yeah, I guess. We'll have to see how things go. I really don't know what it was you were thinking about that took a whole entire week. The wedding is just around the corner, you know. You also didn't even text me at all this week. Do you know how worried I was?
I couldn't focus on my work or anything.
I didn't message you because you're the one who said you wanted to talk about it later, so I assumed that meant that you were going to be the one to reach out first. So technically, it's because of you that we've taken a whole week to talk about this, isn't it?
Well, maybe. Whatever. Well, anyway, I took time to think like you said, and I realized that I can actually understand where you're coming from after all. Of course, I can see how you expected that I should be contributing a little more to the household expenses once we're married, as I work for a big conglomerate and earn more than you do. So I guess it was only natural for you to be disappointed at the idea of having a lower household income than you had expected. But I did tell you, my mom is a very important person to me because I know how hard she worked to provide the best life possible for me. She always told me not to work part-time jobs whilst I was at school so I could focus on studying, and instead work tirelessly day and night to pay my tuition fees and to make sure that I never wanted for anything. It's thanks to her that I was able to get the great job I have today. So I think it's only right that part of my salary should go towards making sure that she lives a comfortable life. Don't you see why I want to repay her any way I can? Didn't you say that your mom also worked really hard for your sake whilst you were growing up? So can't you understand me?
Don't get me wrong, I do understand the sentiment behind it. But what I don't understand is that you want to give her such a large amount of money every month. And another problem I have is that you never told me that you intended on doing this when we first decided to get married. Now we've sorted everything with the venue, we're at the stage where the only thing we need to worry about is finding somewhere to live together. So surely this is something that you should have brought up before we got this far into everything. I was really taken aback by this, you know.
I'm sorry. I was wrong for not saying anything before. But I do think you blew things out of proportion saying that you would have even considered breaking off the engagement over this. I'll just do what you want, so let's stop fighting now, okay?
What do you mean by that exactly?
I won't give my mom such a huge allowance every month, okay? In fact, I won't even give her anything at all. Are you happy now?
What? Why would you suddenly say that you're not going to give her any money when you pushed for it so hard?
Well, I've already told her that's how it's going to be, and she understands where we're coming from. She has her own savings anyway, so she said it's fine. Is this the outcome you wanted?
Is that it? Is this issue really solved just like that?
Yeah, everything is sorted now, so you don't need to worry about it anymore. So, let's not fight about this again, okay? I do know how to make concessions when I need to, you know.
Has everything really been solved so easily? Something smells fishy here.
Well, how did it go? Has Megan stopped throwing her silly little tantrum yet? She's so immature. She should be embarrassed of herself. Why she would need a full week to worry about something so silly, I really don't know. She's always been a little immature. But at this stage, we can't really cancel the wedding, so it's best to just pretend that we're going along with what she wants. So be careful what you say in front of Megan, okay, Mom? Of course! I'm not losing out on anything after all. As you've said that you'll keep giving me an allowance like you did before. But then how are you going to make up the missing money so she doesn't suspect anything? I often get performance-based bonuses, so I can use them to make things add up every now and then. Also, I haven't said anything about this to Megan yet, but I think I'm going to get a promotion very soon. My salary should go up significantly after I get promoted, so none of this should be a problem after that. That is a relief. But why go to all of this effort just for her? Wouldn't it be less trouble to just dump her and find someone else at this point? It would be a headache to try and find someone else. Girls these days have such high standards. Most girls wouldn't even look at a guy like me as a marriage prospect. Even though I have a good job, I don't own any property and I'm also in debt, so that would immediately give me minus points in a lot of girls' eyes. If I don't marry Megan, I don't think I will be able to get married. I have that debt to pay back as well, which doesn't look good in anyone's eyes. Well, I suppose if that's how you say it is, then that must be how it is. But you shouldn't keep going out of your way to do whatever she likes, you know. It really isn't a good habit to have. Of course I won't. After we're married, everything will be sorted and I won't need to put up a front anymore. And don't you worry, Mom. Whatever happens, I'll make sure that you're getting your monthly payments. Thank you for always thinking about me. I really do have the best son in the world.
I guess we've got all the big things out of the way now, so we don't really have much else left to do for the wedding. Oh, by the way, it's my dad's birthday next Sunday, so I was planning on taking my parents to Hawaii. Flight tickets are pretty cheap these days, and it's been such a long time since I went on a trip with my family.
Huh? Why are you only telling me this now?
Why? Did we have something planned for next weekend? I made sure to double-check my calendar and choose the weekend when I didn't have anything else planned.
No, it's not that. Are you using your own money for this trip? If it's next week, you must have booked the flights and hotel already, right?
Yeah, I have. Why are you asking, though?
We're getting married soon. Shouldn't you tell me if you're going to be spending money on something expensive as a trip? And you should have consulted me before making the decision to go anyway. Even if flights are particularly cheap at the moment, trips are generally expensive and it must add up to a couple $1,000s at least. And I know that your parents both have quite high standards, so I'm sure they've picked out the most expensive, fancy hotels they could find. If you're going to be spending that much money, you should have told me about it in advance. I'm a little disappointed in you, if I'm honest.
What? But this is clearly just me going on a short trip with my parents before we get married that I've paid for with my own money. And anyway, this is money taken from a separate savings account I have with my younger sister that we use for doing things for my parents on their birthdays and anniversaries.
Regardless of that, it's money that's come out of a bank account under your name, isn't it? In that case, it should surely be thought of as our shared property, and you should have included me in any decisions about how to use that money. After all, you were the one who said we need to prepare to take out a loan to buy a house together, weren't you? We even agreed that I wouldn't give my mom money anymore. So how can you think it's okay to just spontaneously go on a trip like that?
Well, in the case of the money you're sending your mom, you were planning to continue doing that after we were married, and that's why I thought it would have been better if you'd asked me about it first. But since this is something that's happening before we get married, I didn't really think it concerned you that much. Do you think I should need to ask your permission to do something like this then?
Of course I do. The fact that you didn't makes me think it was really unfair that you made such a fuss about me not sending money to my mom. I can't believe that you would even think of doing something as frivolous as taking your parents on a trip in your situation. We could use that money to help pay back the loan. Every little helps, you know. I think it would be best if you ask for a refund on the trip. Don't you?
What? Ask for a refund? I've already told my parents and sister about the plans. How could I just cancel it at the last minute? And I still don't really understand why you don't think I should go on the trip anyway.
Well, then if you're going on the trip, then I'm going to carry on giving my mom her allowance. From my point of view, I don't see how those two things are different and why it's fair for you to go on the trip but not for me to give my mom her money.
What kind of logic is that? If you want to take your mom on a trip before we get married, by all means, go ahead. My problem is that you hadn't consulted me about an expense that you were planning to continue paying after we get married.
You really just go around doing whatever you want, don't you? Whatever. If you don't want to cancel the trip, that's fine. But instead, I think it's only fair if you transfer the same amount of money you spent on the trip over to me.
What? And why do you think I should do that?
Well, according to your argument that we're now a team and should be sharing finances, I will personally have lost that money that you spent on the trip, won't I? If you had just saved that money, it would have taken a burden off of my shoulders in regards to paying back the loan, don't you think? The fact you have completely needlessly spent that money on a trip equates to a loss for me in terms of paying back the loan faster. So, aren't you going to compensate me then?
And just how do you think I'm going to do that exactly? I clearly just told you that that money is not just mine, but also my sister's, didn't I?
Well, it's still money that came out of a bank account in your name, isn't it? So is it so wrong for me to consider it our shared property, as we're going to be getting married soon? I'm just using the same logic you used with me last week. If you can't get that into your head, then you're obviously a total hypocrite.
I think it's crazy that you're trying to twist my own words against me like this. How is this in any way the same thing?
Because it is the same thing. Anyway, I need to go to the bathroom. So let's talk about this more when I get back.
I really am speechless. Oh, he left his phone on the table. It looks like someone kept trying to call him for the last few minutes. I think it might be the bank, so I guess it looks bad if he keeps not picking up. Hello?
Hello. Am I speaking to Daniel Lees? I'm calling to discuss his loans.
Oh, I'm Daniel's fiancé. Is everything okay? He said he was going to start looking into getting a loan, but I hadn't realized that he'd already spoken to the bank about it.
Ah, his fiancé. I can't really disclose too much information as you are not the intended recipient of this call, but we've been finding it more difficult to get in touch with Mr. Lees these days. Would you be able to please remind him that his loan repayment is 3 months late, and if he lets this go on for much longer, it's going to negatively affect his credit rating, and might also make it difficult to access other financial services in the future without problems. I would be very grateful if you could pass this message on to him.
Excuse me? He's late in his loan repayments? He did tell me that he didn't have any savings, but he also said that he didn't have any debts either.
As I said before, I can't tell you any detailed information about the customer's situation. If you relay the message I just gave you to Mr. Lees, I'm sure you'll be able to find out more details from him. Thank you in advance, and I hope you have a lovely day.
So, Danny is in debt, huh?
What are you doing with my phone?
Danny, tell me honestly, are you in debt?
Huh? Me? In debt? Of course not! Don't be ridiculous!
Well, you just got a call from the bank saying that you're 3 months late on your loan repayment.
Oh, about that. It's really nothing. It's just something small, and I should be able to get it paid back in no time. When I get my bonus, though, I can cover it straight away, so don't worry about it.
How much do you owe exactly?
Oh, something like $10,000. So not that much. I'll be getting a raise soon anyway, so it's going to seem like an even more insignificant number after that. It's nothing that's going to affect you, so keep your nose out, okay? And anyway, when I was in the bathroom, I was thinking that I'm gonna let the whole thing about taking your parents on a trip slide this time. After all, it is the last birthday you'll be spending with your family before we get married. I shouldn't have been so harsh on you about it. Of course, I can't help but feel as if I should apply the same logic you used when you told me not to give my mom a monthly allowance, but I'll overlook it this time because I'm such a generous guy. But let's not have anything like this happen again, okay?
Can you even hear yourself? Do you think these are really the things that should be coming out of the mouth of someone who just got caught hiding their debts?
My plan to get Megan to match the amount she spent on the trip and send it to me really backfired. I was planning to use that money towards paying back the debt. Why did the bank have to call whilst I was in the bathroom? My plan was ruined before I could even get it started. I'm so annoyed.
I can't believe that Danny was hiding his debt from me. The fact that he didn't tell me makes me worry that there may be even more. It really doesn't sit well with me that he was capable of deceiving me like that. I'm also shocked by the audacity of him wanting to give his mom so much money every month when he should be focusing on paying the debt back. If I hadn't found out about his late loan repayments at that exact moment, he would most likely have kept insisting that I give him a sum of money equal to the amount I spent on my parents' trip. His reasoning is getting crazier and crazier. He was such a great guy whilst we were dating. So great that I decided he was the person I wanted to marry. I just don't understand how he can turn into a completely different person after we decided to get married. Or maybe he was always this way and I was just blind to it? I have no idea.
Did something happen? Why the long face? Megan found out that I'm in debt today. She went home with a very hard-to-read look on her face. I wasn't planning on telling her about my debts until after we got married. What should I do if her attitude towards me completely changes after this? I really don't think it's a big deal that she found out about this. After all, you earn way more than she does, so she should still be grateful for your salary. Besides, not everyone views taking out a loan in a negative light anymore, you know. And these days, everyone is in debt at some point or other in their lives. Don't let yourself get all depressed about this, okay? How about I give Megan a call and talk to her about this on your behalf? You? Talk to her on my behalf? If she hears an explanation from me, she might be more understanding. You never know until you try. And anyway, career-wise, you're so far out of her league. So she should be able to put up with something insignificant like this and be grateful for the much higher salary that you'll be bringing to the table. She should also be grateful that you promised her not to give me my allowance every month just to make her happy.
You're right. Oh, by the way, she also said something really funny to me today. Apparently, she's taking her parents to Hawaii next weekend for her dad's birthday, without saying anything to me about it in advance.
What? A trip to Hawaii? That must cost a lot of money.
Yeah, it does cost a lot of money. I told her that she should have talked to me about it before deciding to spend that much money, but she thought that I was being unreasonable. Isn't she being such a hypocrite?
Well, there's clearly something wrong with her in the head. How can she be thinking about going on vacation when she should be busy with the wedding preparations? It's not like she even earns that much money or anything. She should be saving her money to spend on wedding-related stuff instead. I won't stand for this. I'll have to give her a good talking to tomorrow.
I was trying to tell her exactly that, but the call about the loan repayments came in the middle of our conversation and it kind of ruined everything. Maybe it is better if you talk to her, Mom. I can't seem to be able to get through to her, whatever I say.
Leave it to me. I'll make sure she gets the message loud and clear.
Oh, hi, Brenda. How are you doing? I hope you're well.
Hi, Megan. I'm fine, thanks. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? I heard from Danny that you found out about him having debt yesterday.
Yes, I did. You have to understand that I was quite hurt and betrayed to find out something like that when Danny had told me that he was solvent. And the fact that he didn't tell me directly and it took me coincidentally picking up the phone on his behalf and hearing it from a bank employee to find out made me even more disappointed in him.
Well, I can see how it seems as if he deceived you from your point of view, but it really isn't all that big a deal, you know. I'm sure that Danny tried his best to reassure you as well. And I'm sure you know that our family did go through some financial difficulties before. So he had no choice but to take out a loan in order to help out. Because Danny has such a high-paying job, his credit rating is pretty good, so the interest rate isn't even that high. His salary is only going to get higher from now on, so paying it back is going to be a piece of cake for him. So please don't go around saying you're upset and disappointed and that you feel like you've been lied to, because it really is such a tiny issue at the end of the day.
But I have been lied to. Surely you agree that having debt is something you should be upfront when discussing marriage, and it shouldn't have been something that I found out by chance this far down the line.
I disagree. I'm of the opinion that the only people who go around openly talking about their debts are the people who can't deal with the burden by themselves and need to ask for outside help. Danny is more than capable of dealing with his debt by himself, so there was no reason for him to go around publicizing it. It's only people who work in small, low-paying companies like you who would struggle with paying back debts who shamelessly talk about it in the open. And besides, haven't you heard that these days taking out loans and being able to repay them is actually considered a show of financial capability? Do you think that the bank would be willing to loan as much money as they loan Danny to someone like you? Of course they wouldn't! Your credit rating is low and the interest rate would be high since you work for a small company with no reputation and don't earn that much.
What makes you think that you have the right to comment on my financial capabilities like that? And aside from that, you have to understand that this is a big deal for me because Danny and I will become financially intertwined when we get married. Him lying about having debts isn't something that I can easily overlook after a few words of persuasion from you, Brenda. The problem is less the fact that he is in debt and more the fact that he kept it from me this whole time. If he had told me up front when we were first considering marriage, it would of course have still been concerning, but it definitely wouldn't have become as big a problem as it is now. So no matter what you say, it doesn't change the fact that I do feel betrayed by all this.
I don't think you grasp how little right you have to criticize his financial decisions when he's so clearly a cut above you in every way. And if you're going to start going on about how it's unfair for him to keep things from you when you're going to be sharing finances after you get married, you should think about how hypocritical you sound. I know all about your silly little trip you have planned. If we're talking about bad financial decisions, I think that one should be top of the list.
How did you know about that? Did Danny tell you?
Of course he did. And you have no idea how shocked I was to hear about it. How could you do such an irresponsible thing after making such a fuss about Danny sending me a little money every now and again? The fact that you didn't even consult him before making this decision is quite shockingly hypocritical, if you ask me. If sending me a modest allowance every month is a waste of money, then surely spending thousands on a weekend trip for your parents is an even bigger waste.
I tried to explain this to Danny and he didn't listen, so I'm not sure if you will either, but the money that I'm using for this trip is coming from a special fund that my sister and I set up to save money especially for treating my parents on special days. It's not my personal money that would end up becoming a shared asset once Danny and I get married. I really don't know why I have to put up with so much abuse for this.
Listen to yourself. Surely you're aware of how utterly selfish you're being right now. If it wasn't for the fact that I respect the fact that my son has chosen you as his future wife, there's no way I would ever accept you as a daughter-in-law. I'm going to let you off just this once because I understand that you are a little hurt by finding out about Danny's debts. But this is the last straw. I hope you have a wonderful time wasting money you don't have on your frivolous and unnecessary trip. I'm a busy woman, so I'm going to hang up now.
It's so obvious that her son is the one in the wrong, and she still chooses to be blind to it and paint me as some kind of villain. It's so annoying that she keeps using the same argument that I work for a small company and earn less, so I should know my place and be grateful for him. I really don't know what I've done to deserve having to put up with all of this craziness. So, I got a call from your mom today. You put her up to it, didn't you?
Of course I didn't. All it was that she heard about what happened with us the other day, and she took it upon herself to share her opinion on the situation with you.
Well, I guess she's entitled to her opinion. But listening to her really made me think a lot about a few things. It also really opened my eyes to how the world works.
I'm glad. My mom always talks nothing but sense, so I'm happy that she was able to get through to you. I acknowledge that it was wrong of me to hide my debt from you. And since I'm sure you now understand that you were also wrong for booking the Hawaii trip without consulting me, let's put everything behind us and move forwards. There is another thing that bothered me, though. I'm not comfortable with the fact that you used my phone when I wasn't around. It made me feel like you really don't respect my privacy.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Anyway, I just need to go to the bathroom quickly.
Okay, see you in a minute. It really does look like my mom managed to talk some sense into her. It seems like my mom really was my secret weapon after all. Oh, it looks like she left her phone behind. It keeps ringing. Better check in case it's something important. Hello?
Hello, I'm looking for Miss Megan Lewis. Could I ask who it is that I'm speaking to? I assume that you are not Miss Lewis, sir. I said earlier that I would give her a call at 5 p.m., so I expected her to be prepared.
Oh, Megan's just gone to the bathroom. I'm her fiancé, by the way.
Ah, her fiancé. Then I suppose it's okay for me to ask you to pass on this message to her. It looks like we'll be able to sell the apartment for her. And there's going to be a very nice place near her parents becoming available soon. Could you please tell her to let us know if she'd like to book a viewing? It's a perfect place for older people to live, so I'm sure it would suit her requirements.
Apartment? I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
The apartment that she listed for sale with us. It's such a nice apartment, you know, in such a prime location. Just today, we've had 3 viewings already. One of them said they were happy to sign the contract as soon as possible, so I just wanted to let her know that things are moving quickly. If you could pass all this information on to her, that would be amazing. Thank you. Goodbye now.
What on earth was she talking about? Megan? An apartment? Did she not say that we would need to take out a loan to buy a house?
Oh my goodness, what are you doing with my phone, Danny? Didn't you say just 5 minutes ago that using other people's phones was an invasion of privacy?
I didn't intend it as an invasion of privacy. It was just that it kept ringing and I thought it was best to just answer it. It was a realtor looking for you. She said that they think they're on the verge of selling the apartment that you listed with them. What was she talking about?
Oh, that's great! The real estate market isn't too good at the moment, so I was worried that I wouldn't be able to sell it. It's such a relief to hear that. Did they not say anything else? They said that there was an apartment near my mom's place that I might be interested in viewing. Did they mention that at all?
Yeah. They did talk about that as well, actually. But anyway, that's not the point. How come I didn't know that you owned an apartment? You clearly said that if we wanted to get a place, we would need to get out a loan.
I never said that. That's what you said, actually, Danny. Yes, I do own an apartment. Surprised, are we? Well, I suppose it is quite rare for someone my age to be a homeowner and not be in debt. Is it hard for you to imagine that someone like me, who has an okay job at a small, obscure company, has something that you, who has a high-flying job at a big, well-known company, doesn't have? Do you not think that puts us on more equal footing? Anyway, that's besides the point. I'm planning on selling the apartment that I own right now and buying a new, nicer place near to where my parents are living and have her move in there. Just like your mom, my parents also worked really hard to raise me after all. It's about time I repay them. Don't you agree?
But how can you have an apartment when you have such a low salary?
Do I really need to explain myself to you to this extent? I've been into investing ever since I was young, and I studied the savviest ways to go about doing it. I'm also quite good at saving. I've always been quite frugal and have been able to save up a fair amount of money. So in summary, I managed to buy that apartment through my own hard work. I guess someone like you who feels so nice and secure in their fancy job never thinks about these sorts of things. Am I right? I suppose you were so busy worrying about paying off your loan and throwing ridiculous amounts of money at your mom every month, you wouldn't have had time to think about anything else, would you?
But you should have told me before about something as big as owning an apartment. This is a much bigger deal than me hiding my debt from you. Surely you can see that. And what makes you think that you can just sell it like that? Surely, according to your logic, it should be our shared property, so you shouldn't be able to sell it without consulting me about it first. And if you're selling it and buying a new place, surely we should go and live there after we get married instead of you letting your parents live there. This doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, so my apartment is our shared property as well now, is it?
Of course it is. I think you should call the realtor back right now and tell her to cancel the sale and we can just move in there as soon as possible. Or at least if you're going to sell it, use the money to buy a new place for us instead of for your parents. Why would you not want to make things easier for us in the future? Why would you create a situation where we would still need to take out a loan to get a place together when you could easily solve everything through this apartment?
Ah, so that's how you see the situation, is it? So if all of our property is shared, then surely your debt will become my debt as well. Am I right? I don't see how it's in any way a fair exchange for me to bring the apartment that I worked hard for years to buy to the table when all you're giving me in return is debt. There's no way I'm getting married to someone who thinks that's okay. Do you think I would be happy to be with someone who's just going to be a drain on my wealth?
I told you that I would take care of the debt in no time. Did you not listen to a word of what my mom said to you?
I did listen to her, actually. Her main point is that you should take care of what's yours and I should take care of what's mine. And that's exactly what I'm doing.
But an apartment is such a big thing. Don't you think your parents would actually be more burdened to receive a new apartment as a gift than she would be happy?
Whatever my mom thinks about it is nothing to do with you, to be frank. However we look at it, I guess I'm just a cut above you, financially speaking. What difference does it make that you work for a big, famous company? Compared to what I've made from being financially savvy and the worth of the property that's in my name, your salary really doesn't look that impressive, does it? So really, what do I gain from being with someone like you? I should go and find someone on my level who also owns property. Why don't you go and find someone else who irresponsibly gives their parents a small fortune every month when they have overdue debts to pay back? There's no need for us to see each other again, so this is goodbye, I guess.
Wait, Megan! You can't just leave like that! Are you actually breaking up with me right now?
So, you're saying she actually owned an apartment all this time and never even told you?
Yes, and according to the realtor, it's a really good apartment. I don't know how she could have lied to me like this for so long.
So that's why she had the audacity to talk back to me like that. So, did she break up with you then?
Yep, she sure did. Very decisively. If I'd known earlier that she was a homeowner already, I would have tried harder to hold on to her. It's not that easy to find someone who owns property in their own right and is also completely debt-free these days. Then you should try and get her back then. If you can get the debt in her name when she's a property owner, that would help things turn out for the better for you, wouldn't it? You shouldn't let go of her so easily. You'd be a fool to not try to chase after her now.
Hello? Who is this?
It's Brenda. Danny's mom. What do you mean, who is this? Surely you saw my name flash up on the caller ID.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Brenda. You see, I usually delete the numbers of people who I don't have anything to do with anymore.
What? You deleted my number? I know that you and Danny had a little fight yesterday, but don't you think it's a bit harsh to suddenly cut us off like that?
I think it's best to have a clean break, don't you think? Anyway, why are you calling me, may I ask?
I heard from Danny yesterday that he suddenly found out that you own an apartment. You should have told him about something so important when you started dating. Why on earth did you keep it a secret for so long? If I had known, I definitely would have treated you differently. I think Danny would have been better to you too. I must admit that I completely misjudged you. I thought you were some immature girl with no ambition who was happy working at an obscure company for a mediocre salary. I had no idea you were such an admirable and hardworking person with such assets to your name. I know you had a big disagreement with Danny yesterday, but don't you think it would be best to just kiss and make up? Danny really likes you, you know, even if you did hide this from him. After all, didn't he promise to stop giving me money every month just because you said you didn't want him to? I think that's testament to how much he values your opinion. And didn't he also let it slide when he found out about you wanting to take your parents on vacation so close to the wedding? That's how generous-hearted and willing to compromise he is with you. And as for the debt, I will personally make sure that every penny gets paid back, so don't you worry your head about that. I'll even give my promise to you in writing if you need it. And then, of course, there's the wedding. Everything for the wedding is basically already in place, so wouldn't it be a huge waste of money to call the whole thing off now?
So basically what you're saying is that if I had told you that I was a homeowner earlier in my relationship with Danny, you would have treated me like a queen regardless of how disappointing my job is in your eyes? You do realize that just exposes you for the incredibly shallow person that you are. And as for the debt, surely it should be Danny's responsibility to make sure that it gets paid back, not yours. Don't you know that the fact that his mom is making these promises on his behalf makes him look like a major loser? But you're also part of the problem, Brenda. You knew full well that your son was in debt, and yet you still went around singing his praises and making him fail to realize how bad his situation was. And on top of that, you were still expecting him to be giving you money every month, even when you knew that he would have to be paying back his loan. It seems that you really are the sort of person who would exploit your own child just to earn a little extra money. And I have no interest in being dragged into your games. I know that you don't really care about me. Or your son, for that matter. All you care about is money, so don't go saying you want us to get back together because Danny misses me or any other nonsense like that. You just saw me as another opportunity to get some money, and that's why you're desperately calling me now, isn't it? Well, it's too late now, and there's no chance of us getting back together. So get lost!
Don't you think you're being too harsh to a poor old lady here, Megan? I know that you're angry, but I do think that everything can be solved if you and Danny can just talk it out. How can things end like this when you two were so close to getting married?
I think you and I both know full well that your son is in no position to be getting married right now. You know as well as I do that the only reason that he was going through with the wedding is because he thought he was in too deep to call it off now and had resigned to just keep going. Of course, everything can still be called off as long as we pay the cancellation fees. But who's going to compensate me? Whose life has been messed up by you and your son? I think it's best for us to end everything now before anyone gets hurt any more than they have been already. When I was studying investment, I often heard people say that it's better to deal with a few small losses in order to prevent a bigger loss in the future. I think however inconvenient canceling this wedding may be, I for one think it's worth it to avoid spending the rest of my life married to Danny and having you try your best to leech off us.
How dare you say such things to me? Do I look like that much of a bad mother to you? Do you know how hard I work to make sure Danny always had the best life possible?
If you were such a good mom, you wouldn't be trying to force him to give you money every month, even when he couldn't afford it. Of course, Danny is still massively at fault here, but I think that you're the root of a lot of his problems. Anyway, I think I've said everything I want to say now. I'm going to block your number now, so don't try and call me again because you won't get through. Bye-bye, Brenda!
How dare she just hang up on me like that? I've never had such awful things said to me in my entire life. And she wouldn't even let me get a word in edgeways. I don't know what nonsense has gotten into her head, but of course there's nothing wrong with me expecting money from my son. It's a child's duty to pay their parents back tenfold for raising them. I can't believe that she would call me a leech. That's really put me in a bad mood for the rest of the day now.
Why are you here, Danny? I'm really not comfortable with the fact that you've come all the way to my house. I guess I'm moving soon, so it's not that much of a big deal, but this can be treated as stalking, you know.
Well, I wouldn't have come here if you had just answered the phone when I called you. Did you block my number or something?
Yeah, I did. I like to have a clean break.
Look, Megan, I don't know what my mom said to you, but you have to understand that I'm also just a victim of her scheming. I never wanted to give her such excessive amounts of money every month, but she coerced me into it. As for the loan, she also tricked me into taking it out in my own name when she was actually the one who needed the money. Do you think living with a mom like her all these years has been easy on me? And I think I was just so swept off my feet when I met you that I said I wanted to get married even though I knew I was in no position to do so. I didn't want you finding out that I was actually pathetic and incapable, so I did whatever I could to hide the fact that I had debt from you. I didn't even have much money in savings despite working for a big company and having a decent salary, and I was already embarrassed enough to have to ask you to go halves with me on the cost of the wedding, so you must understand that I couldn't tell you about the loan on top of that. I thought about telling you a bunch of times, but whenever it came down to it, I just couldn't get the words out. I know it probably all just sounds like excuses to you, but would you please just forgive me? I'm really, really sorry for everything that happened.
Have you forgotten about all those times that you said that I should be grateful for you for wanting to marry someone like me when your salary was so much higher than mine? You also said it was only natural that you were able to take care of your mom by giving her so much money because you had so much money to spare. I wonder where the guy who bragged about his financial capabilities so confidently has gone now. I guess me owning an apartment really did turn the tables, didn't it? Considering how your mom completely changed the way she acted towards me when we spoke on the phone, she certainly thought so.
No, you've got it all wrong. It's not because of the apartment. I'm here because I know how wrong I was and I want to properly apologize to you. Can't we just go ahead with the wedding after all? Everything is all ready. It would be a shame for it all to go to waste, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm sorry to say, but I've already canceled everything, and I've already sold the house. Don't you remember that we booked the venue and bought the dress with my money? In fact, most of the wedding stuff was paid for with my money. Had you forgotten? Looking at you right now, you really are such a loser, Danny.
Wait, what? You canceled it all? And you sold the house? Don't you think this was all a bit too hasty?
You told me to do whatever I wanted with my property, and I've done just that. So why do you think it's any of your concern? We really are over now. So stop sniveling in front of me and get lost already. If you try and come to my house again, I'll report you straight to the police. Bye-bye, Danny.
Megan, please. Do I need to get down on my knees and beg?
I really don't have time to watch you being pathetic like this. Didn't I tell you to get lost already?
This is all your fault, Mom. Everything is ruined. I've lost Megan for good now because of all your meddling and manipulating. Are you happy now?
How is any of this my fault? Her leaving is completely on you. If you'd wanted her to stay so much, you would have worked harder to be a better partner for her, wouldn't you?
This all started with you saying that I should be giving you money every month to pay you back for the kindness of raising me. But really, I haven't got anything to be thankful to you for. I even took out a loan for you, and look what good that's done me.
This is the price you pay for having such a doting mother throughout your childhood.
How dare you think you can suddenly start talking to your own mother like this just because some girl broke up with you? I didn't raise you to talk back to me like that. I'm crazy for going along with everything you said for so long. I don't owe you anything, you mad woman. What an ungrateful brat of a son I have.
After I broke off my engagement with Danny, I used the money from selling my apartment to buy a house, and I'm now living there together with my parents. My parents did protest, saying I should have saved the money for if I wanted to get married to someone else in the future, but I think that the best use of my hard-earned money was to buy a better house for us all. I can earn more money at any time, but my parents won't be with me forever, so I want to make the most of the time I do have with them. Oh, I also changed jobs recently, and I'm on a much higher pay bracket than I was before, so I'm really not too worried about money. It took a long time to get where I am now, and whilst I was still struggling, I wasn't able to do much for my parents. But now I'm in a better place financially, and I want to do everything I can to give them a better life. Danny has tried to contact me a few times over the last few months, begging me to forgive him, to give him another chance, etc., etc. Seeing that the person I once loved is actually an incredibly pathetic loser really helped open my eyes to a lot of things. Of course, I wasted a lot of time and money on my engagement with Danny, but it did teach me some valuable life lessons and to be more discerning when choosing my partners. I did actually run into Danny's mom once by chance, and it seemed that she's now working as a dishwasher at a restaurant near my office to make ends meet. When I found out about Danny's debt, it did make me think that he had maybe taken out more loans than he had originally admitted to, and seeing her working there all but confirmed that was true. She's probably had to go back to work because she couldn't get by just by asking Danny for money anymore when all of his debts caught up to him. It is important to treat your parents well in their old age, but stretching yourself beyond your capabilities to do so will just end badly for everyone involved. Thank you for listening to my story. Don't forget to like and subscribe.